Hi guys, it's been a little while. I am trying to get better at YouTube. I've been a little bit distracted lately, but I feel like there's a lot of things that I have on my mind that I can share with you guys. And I think that's something that people like me deal with frequently are just the thoughts that if I put content out there, like, oh, who's gonna care or who's gonna really relate to it, but every time that I do, I know that someone can relate to it. It's easy to get, especially as like someone who, you know, coaches and who doesn't have a typical 9-to-5 schedule. I think I easily get lost in the just doing, like getting focused on, you know, my clients, which obviously should take #1 priority, but then having a hard time with realizing that like my personal brand is my brand. And so a lot of times I don't want to talk about myself, or I don't want to talk about my life, because I feel like it's just selfish, or it's just focused on self. But at the same time, I have to remember that sharing my story is also how I have related to so many people. So it's a little bit of like a balance between it, I think, because a lot of times I think in the industry, individuals can start to become so self-focused that it's like everything in your entire day is like, what am I gonna do? You know, if your life is on social media, it's like, how am I gonna live my life to kind of portray this life that people want to see, or portray this life that is attractive to people, that that is interesting. But what I think is so important is being real and sharing that side of your life, and not necessarily just trying to put on a show, but just trying to give other people a look into your life so they can relate or learn from learn from your mistakes, learn from your journey. Because there's been a lot of mistakes that I've made in my fitness journey, or in whatever it may be, that I have shared and that I want to share, and I think are helpful for people. Just in this fitness world that tends to be dominated by self and dominated by stepping on other people in order to elevate yourself. So I think I've been struggling with that a little bit. I've been struggling with, what do I want to share about myself, but at the same time not feeling like I'm just so self-focused that it's taking over, if that makes any sense, which it probably doesn't. This balance that I'm trying to find. So I think that's why I've been a little bit hesitant to put out like vlogs or YouTube content. Anyways, this is turning into a ramble. It's been on my mind recently that I think is valuable, and I think people need to be careful of, is this self-sabotage, and it's feeling guilt. So for some reason the word guilt has been on my mind lately, because a lot of times I see this so much. I see it with myself. Really the main thing that gets in my way is myself. You know, a lot of times there's things that are talked about, like external factors. So your work schedule, how much time you have in the gym, can you get to the gym X number of days per week? Can you afford to go to the grocery and buy, you know, healthy foods? Can you dedicate the time to practicing your posing for a show? Can you get to the gym and practice your lifts? Do you have the right equipment? So all these external factors that people worry about, which are important. But at the same time, the biggest thing that often gets in our way is right here, is ourselves. About the external portion of your journey. And it's easy to focus on that and to, you know, put a lot of attention to that, which of course it's important. You know, it's important to train in a certain number of days per week. It's important to have a good coach who aligns with your goals. It's important to have a training program. It's important to have the right equipment if you need that. But we get in our own way mentally. It's so important to be in a mental state in order to make progress. What I mean by that is I see it so much. So the word that I'm gonna talk about is guilt. So I see it so much in individuals that I meet, myself, friends, family, other competitors, clients, whatever it may be, where you feel guilty about something and you self-sabotage your results. I think it's guilt and it's fear. Guilt should never be something that you feel about where you are in your fitness journey, what macros you're eating, how strong you are. And it's so easy to play that comparison game, especially now because it's so readily available to us through social media, where we compare ourselves to someone else. So we say, oh my God, they're so much stronger. They weigh what I weigh and they're lifting 100 pounds more than me on deadlift. Oh my gosh, she's eating XYZ macros. Why am I not eating that many macros? And I can't maintain weight on that many macros. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Why am I not that strong? What's wrong with me? Why am I not that pretty? What's wrong with me? And you start to feel this guilt where you're like, what didn't I do to reach that point? What didn't I do? It's so important to realize that there is no one like you. There is no one like you. You are you. And there is something very empowering about that, because I think about it myself, it like gives me chills thinking about it. And I think about, there is no one who has the same story as me. How empowering is that? The fact that I have an individual story that no one can duplicate. And you do too. And you have a story, and you don't know how you're going to be able to inspire someone else. So instead of feeling guilt and looking at other people's situations and saying, oh my gosh, you know, recently there's been this sort of trend in macros where it's like, if you're maintaining weight on 400 grams carbs as a female, oh, somehow that makes you like just higher up than someone else who's maintaining weight on 200 carbs. Like, it's a bunch of bull crap. So then I have some people who have come to me and they're like, is there something wrong with me? Why am I not maintaining weight on higher calories? Well, I mean, maybe there's some sort of, you know, way that you can reverse diet and increase your metabolic capacity. But for me, like, I don't maintain weight on nearly as many carbs as I used to, or as many calories. And it's, you know, from some hormonal effects from dieting and etc. that I won't get into. So stop the comparison game. Stop this guilt where you feel like, where's Stanley? Like, why am I not achieving what they're achieving? What's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you. Someone is probably looking at you saying, I wish I could have that. I wish I could have what they have. I wish I was as strong as them. I wish I was as pretty as them. But at the end of the day, you are you, and there's no one like you. And that is so empowering. So stop feeling this guilt associated with the comparison game. Stop comparing yourself to other people, because you are your individual, and you need to focus on what are you doing in order to improve your life, to then hence, after, you know, consequently improve others' lives by influencing them or inspiring them or helping them or sharing your story. Think about struggles that you have faced. Those struggles, every single one of those struggles is an opportunity to share with others your story and to inspire others. If I'd never had any of my struggles, any of my eating issues, I would not be in the position that I am today. Stanley says hi. Stanley, say hi. Remember that you can get in your own way so easily by feeling this guilt. It literally is like a cloud that can be over your head. But once you're free of that, once you realize there is no one like myself. Stanley, come here. Stanley, come here. Anyways, once you realize there is no one like you, and there is no one that can replace you, and no one who has the same story as you, that's empowering. You can move forward on that instead of feeling trapped by this sense of guilt and trying to be like, I wish I was here, I wish I was there. No, you're in your position for a reason. So use that for good. Stanley. Let's say hi to Stanley. Come here. Stanley, do you want to say hi to the camera? Say hi to the camera. All right, guys. Stanley's going outside, and I'm going to say peace out. He was just attacking a bee. That's just the norm. Stanley, you're so silly. So I hope this was helpful for some of you guys. I'm going to try to get on YouTube a little bit more here in the future, just with things that are on my mind, things that I know could possibly help some people. And so just to share with you guys, I'm just trying to find the right balance in terms of what I want to share and not feeling like I'm so caught up in myself. So it's just been something personally that I have been like wrestling with. I'm like, what do I want to share? What content do I want to put out? So yeah, so that's where I am today. So, all right guys, I hope you have a lovely day and I will see you soon.